guys and dolls, we're rolling. So just out with Tulip, the madam, and just going for a morning walk. Baby was up till 3 a.m. I got a message at 3 a.m. Katie telling me I going to sleep, so when I popped round this morning, I just sneaked in, make sure they were alright. Two of them were cold, so I've just left them. So she'll message me when she gets up, you know. But all good. Everything is absolutely amazing. Baby's doing absolutely amazing. And it's thanks to God, guys. It really is, you know. It really, really is. And yeah, I brought a wee video this morning. You know, I don't really need to explain it to you, like, you know what I mean? But I suppose I can touch on it, you know. I suppose I can touch on it. I suppose I need to maybe explain to you why, but properly explain to you why I'm so passionate about it. And also why, well, it all comes in with the same thing, you know, and it's basically just, you know, and I know I keep going on about this, and I keep saying as well, don't feel sorry for me. I can't explain it to you any other way unless giving you an idea or giving you a picture or a snapshot of my life. And, you know, being a wee boy, I don't think people understand. I truly was on the street from around 9 years old. Basically, I was put in the care at 9 years old. And from there, I was running away because I was always out playing. My mum always let me out play. I was a street kid. I loved playing. We played all the games, you know. Football, kick a can, tag, Castlereagh interrogation. I'm going to that in another time. But no, we did. We played all the games, and it was like, they made the bonfires on the 11th of July, the parades on the 12th of July. You know, at the Queen's Jubilee, 1977. You know what I mean? So I was used to being out on the street. That was my social media, you know what I mean? See how the kids are like that today with the phones? That's what I was like. But it was being out in the street. And then my mum died. I was put in the care. But I already knew the street, you know. And the other side of that as well, that I can remember, was the fact that my mum was dead. She was the only person I was scared of, you know. Truly. And there was no other adult. That in my head, I can remember feeling that way, you know. And no other adult could tell me what to do. And so therefore, I ended up on the streets. And it was good. It was brilliant, honestly. You know, especially coming up to the July, the summer. You know, the bonfires collecting for the wood. I'd always have somewhere to stay because of the bonfires. We'd have wee hingies. Let me put this down. Let her off and get this glove on. 2 seconds, guys. Ooh. Didn't plan that too well. 2 seconds. Come here, Tulip. Tulip, come here. Might edit this out. But if I don't, you'll know. Right. 2 seconds, guys. Make sure the snow's off. So yeah, sorry about that. How is that? That looks alright. It's just bright, isn't it? It's really bright. It's on my eyes. It's like the sun's always bouncing off. When I do these videos, the sun's always bouncing off the snow. But I love it, you know what I mean? It's just a pain in the arse. Guys, it does give me wee aches, so it does. But no, it wasn't bad, guys. You know, there was so much fun. And it was so much different. Kids were so safe, you know. And you got to understand as well, all my mates' mums felt sorry for me. You know, they all knew I didn't have anybody else in the world. They knew my mum, how much my mum loved me. You know, they used to always tell me I was the apple of my mum's eye, and you know, stuff like. I hope you can hear me. I hope I'm not muffling. She used to say you were the apple of your mum's eye. Your mum loved you so much, you know, and yeah, it was like I was looked after, guys. It wasn't all bad, you know. But the thing is, You know, the places where I was meant to be safe is where I was abused, you know, in the children's home. And my experience of predators, you know, we have our problems. I've never ever said that it was exclusively one community. Of course, you know, there's predators in every community, you know. But the difference with the predators in their community is that they're targeting the kids in our community. Our predators don't differentiate between race, colour or religion. It's a child is a child to our predators, you know. And that's sort of the big issue. That's the kicker that's causing all the problems, and you know, and that's what nobody's addressing. And I've come across predators in my life. I've came very, very close. Very, very close. And if it wasn't being from the street and learning from older boys and getting in the gang fights at a really early age, like I'm talking before I even went into secondary school, I was in a gang. The Woodstock Tartan, I spoke about it. And, you know, it's going down that road at the Skinhead, the Fred Perry, Dr. Martens, the Crombie, the Bomber Jacket. You know, it was like, this was at like 9, 10 and 11. This is what I was doing. You know, I was allowed to dress as a skinhead in the children's home. You know, I had a shaved head. I used to have to sit in a classroom on my own over break time because the teachers didn't want me sharing the classroom because of my shaved head. And that's, you know, another part of what happened, the problems with school. But tulip. But predators. The thing about predators, guys, is that they target every individual child specifically to suit their needs. You understand? So my predators would be fatherly figures. They would be loving, be caring, and they would be really kind. And whenever you're brought into that, your defences are down and you feel that, whoa, I've got a bit of good in my life, you know, because I'm around guys that are being bad. Attitude, it's the street. They're not all bad, but they behaved bad. Everybody was trying to be better than everybody else. There was a conflict, there was riots, there was petrol bombs, there was car bombs, there was huge explosions. The place was an absolute chaos, okay? And then amongst that, you had men and women, young boys and girls trying to grow up, you know, so you can imagine what it was like. And out of all that, there would be a glimmer of a hope for me, you know, and I'm not going to go into it because I couldn't. You can hear my voice going already. You know, I'm not going down that road. Come here. Come on. Well, what I'm trying to say, guys, is it's the way they do it. It's the way a predator grooms a child. You understand? And then, see, whenever the moment comes, when the penny drops, 99.9%, most kids, not me, most kids go into shock. And whilst in that shock, the abuse happens. And then after that, guys, there's all sorts of things come off that. You know, some boys become gay. You know, some boys commit suicide. Some boys become predators. Some boys become absolute monsters. You've got to put it. Nobody really talks about what it's like for the actual child that's groomed. Nobody talks about the actual way it's done and how they target specific children to the needs of that child, what that child is yearning for, what that child needs, what that child isn't getting from anywhere else, i.e. the government, the children's home, the school. Can you see what I'm saying? It was all these institutions that let me down, that led me in a situation where I was able to be groomed by predators. Because they're so clever. Now, only for the street and my character, because I'm not going to put myself down here. My strength, And I'd already done a lot of damage to a predator already, that already had abused me and got away with it. And it wasn't going to happen again. But you got to understand, it was like, it's no once bitten, twice shy. Yeah, I had a certain amount of knowledge that saved me, that protected me on many, many occasions. There's so many times I became so close, and so many I probably don't even know about because of my ignorance, gullibility, you know. But the point I'm trying to make, guys, is, you know, nobody's stopping to think about these children. As you seen in my video, she hasn't even spoke to one of the victims. Maybe if they started speaking to the victims and finding out exactly what happened, the racial element behind it, the hatred, find out what they know what happened. They know what happened. I can't tell you what's happened on this. Jeez, oh man. If it was common knowledge what actually happened to them girls, game would be a bogey for Labour. Do you understand why there's no inquiry? Yeah, but listen, I'm just getting that out of the way, guys. I'm trying to let you know, guys, that I'm not here hating on folk. I'm not far right. I'm not a racist. I love every man. I'm a Christian. I care too much about people. I could never hurt another person. There's not an evil bone in my body. I make mistakes. I struggle through life socially. I am not perfect. I have temper problems. I have emotional problems that I normally push out as anger. And I'm working on it and getting better and better. And these videos have helped me along the way. And I've always been honest with you and said, I'll always talk on my walk and talks. I'll always talk about what is going through my mind. And when I'm dealing and having to look at what's going on in this country right now, like every other single victim of childhood abuse in this country, which is millions of adults right now, will be going through PTSD because of what they're seeing. It'll be bringing stuff up from the past that they've dealt with, that they buried. When victims of childhood abuse see this happening, they see the injustice, they see the implicity of the police and the government that helped these guys abuse these children, how the government are still refusing to hold an inquiry, then most victims will feel like a victim and not a survivor. Sorry, no survivors. You know what I mean. You know what I mean. It's difficult. It's difficult. I'm not scripting this. This is in my head and it's coming out. It's have nothing. I don't do anything. I just tell you what's on my head, and I don't get my words out right, and I get words back to front. I know you know that, and I thank you for not mentioning it because it's embarrassing. You know what I mean? For me, you know, and I don't edit it. I don't put out my mistakes, and but what I'm trying to say is whenever victims of child abuse see atrocities going on, then they will feel like victims again, over and over again. If we've seen the government coming out and doing what they should do, you know, doing what everybody in the world is screaming at them. Everybody is screaming at them. What are you doing, Labour? What are you doing, the British government, Tories? Why have you let this go on? Why have you been implicit? You know, if it was dealt with properly, if people were held accountable, proper people that were involved in it, in the cover-up of all this, were held accountable, then the millions of childhood, the adults that have been victim of childhood abuse in this country would not feel like victims. They would feel like survivors, and it would give them strength to go on. It's the psychological of it, you know. That's what, yeah, I can't explain it any other way. All you got to do is believe what I'm saying. When I look at the TV and I see people getting away with horrific crimes like this against our children, it makes me feel like a victim again. But if I see justice, then I feel like justice. You understand? And that's the problem. That's why my videos are the way they are. I'm only putting on them on there for other victims that are feeling exactly like me right now, that don't have a voice. I know that even if anybody that sees my videos that have been through childhood abuse will take so much comfort from them. And you see, that's all that matters. And that's why I risk coming on here and being accused of being a far right and a racist and an Islamophobe. It's absolutely ridiculous words, labels that mean absolutely nothing to me. They're just labels that for a narrative. They're labels for their narrative. They can't go forward without labels. They can't point at you unless they can label you. And that's all them words are about. Nothing more than labels so they can point accusations at you because they're saying things they don't want you to say. And the only way they can shut you up is by labeling you something negative and telling everybody that you're that label. And that's all that is, guys. Racism and Islamophobia are just labels to protect and to silence. That's enough of that. That's enough of that. I'll go maybe not us into one video, knock us out at that. So, for all those, no, well, at the end of the day, I'm just going to chat to my followers, guys. You know, that's it. You know, the rest of the stuff's coming. Well, I don't even know what's coming, but you know, anybody that's watched my previous videos and they're starting to think, well, he keeps going on about this, he keeps going on about that. You need to understand why I keep going on about it. I'm not here. I don't want to be here. If the British government can get their act together and stop behaving like absolute clowns, then none of us would need to be here. You know, calling us all far right, victims of childhood abuse, they're calling far right because we're complaining about seeing it again. 40, 50 years later, we're watching it again, we're living it again, we're living what we've been through again. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry, guys. Ah, dear. I'm going to wrap this up. I'm going to get a smoke. This is why I can't stop smoking, guys. You know, too emotional. Overthinker, too emotional. You know, I've got an appointment with my psychotherapist tomorrow. It's coming at an absolutely good time, or psychologist. So it's coming at a good time. So it is. Because it is difficult. It really is difficult. But I just want to say this one thing, and I keep saying it. Thank you so much. Thank you all so much for amazing comments. Make me feel like I'm not, because you got to understand, we doubt ourselves. We all doubt ourselves so much because we've always been silenced. When people keep throwing things at you, you don't know the half of what I've been through, guys, of what they've done to me, the tricks that they've used, you know. I will one day, I promise, when I get the strength to be able to get through it, because it's so difficult, and it'll always hang over me as well, you know, because it's horrific. It's absolutely horrific, you know, and it's an injustice I suffered, and had a big effect on my life, you know. But listen, guys, I'm going to leave it at that. Listen, I'm sorry it's like that again. I will calm down, and I promise. I keep saying I'm going to bring another video, but what happens is, baby, you know, mum's been up all night, not all night, but mum's doing quite a lot, breastfeeding, pumping, you know what I mean. Granny's doing her bit, you know. I do what I can, you know, and I do what I'm allowed, because you know, the bond of mum and the baby's amazing, and it's like, you know, everything is absolutely amazing, guys. I am so blessed, and one of the reasons why I don't go on about it too much, and maybe you don't feel I'm not excited, is just because I've always got in mind how hard other people's lives are, and you hear the buzzard? See, they always come and say hello all the time. You know, I mean, and I'm not exaggerating. On my mother's grave, there's very few times I've come out here, and a buzzard hasn't come over and done a circle. And it is mostly because of the dogs and that, but you know, I always say there's more to the birds than we truly know. And but no, I'm blabbling. But thank you all so much for giving me the support, and you know, giving me the strength to do what I do. And yeah, I am really fortunate, and I do understand that there's people out there that aren't so fortunate as me. And I always have that in mind, and I always pray for you, you know. So God bless every one of you. If I can turn this off.